Members of Delta Sigma Phi are accustomed with falling victim to the infamous sandwich punch. And they have Brighton Jr. Nolan Graff to thank, who carried the tradition forward.
Sandwich punching is a game that it's like a national game, but in my high school, Brighton High School, it was really prevalent, and everybody on the football team and ended up being everybody in the school knew about the rules. So at lunchtime, we would all just punch each other's sandwiches, and it kind of brought a whole new element to eating.
Graff states there are multiple rules involved with the conventional sandwich punch.
Well, there's a whole wide array of rules, but at Delt Sig, we usually play by like the rules that I brought to this house. A sandwich is anything in between two pieces of bread. Currently, we have an egg sandwich. This would be a sandwich. Now, once somebody takes a bite out of said sandwich and sets it down, you're allowed to punch it. And you can't punch a sandwich that hasn't been bitten into, and you can't punch a sandwich that isn't two pieces of bread.
Does Sig Phi punch anything besides sandwiches?
Now, anything can really constitute as a sandwich. A piece of cake can constitute as a sandwich because it's technically two pieces of bread with icing in between. So if somebody takes a bite out of cake, you're allowed to punch their cake. Cereal's also technically a sandwich because it's two pieces of grain in between is milk, but that's a little bit tricky because you can only punch one of those. But there's also different methods of punching. One is just the regular punch of said sandwich. A second form, if you really despise this person, you can finger said sandwich. And lastly, there is the defiling of a sandwich. So basically, you are left with a sandwich that can look like this, or just a regular looking sandwich if you're smart about it.
Is there any way which we can safeguard our sandwiches from this?
How to protect your sandwich. You can place a guard on top of your sandwich once you have bitten into it and set it down. A guard can be anything from a napkin to a fork to a potato chip. Doesn't really matter. Just as long as there's something on top of your sandwich, it can't be punched. Also, you can't punch anybody's sandwich that they're currently holding. That's just weird because you're technically punching them in the face, and you don't want to do that. And thirdly, if that person has cut or ripped their sandwich, you cannot punch it. It has to be a direct bite and it has to be set down. There's no real amount of time. As soon as they set it down and they forget to put on the guard, you can just go ahead and punch away.